This is Scaling Across Borders, a journey into the markets most of the world overlooks. I'm Greg Moran, an investor looking for what others miss. Places on the edge of the map that are building their own future. My first stop, Kosovo. It's a country better known for headlines from the past, yet rarely seen for what it's truly becoming.
Landed here in Prishtina, Kosovo, after a long flight from the U.S. I've heard a lot of rumors about this place, and I get a lot of questions about it, but none more so than, is it safe? Well, we're about to find out.
On the way to Prishtina, it can look like a country still catching up. But on paper, Kosovo is one of Europe's youngest and poorest countries. But man, on these roads, you'd never know it. BMWs, Audis, Mercedes. People here spend big on their cars. And when you reach the city, the picture sharpens. International brands side by side with local cafes. It's the first sign that things aren't what you'd expect.
What's your name?
It's Greg.
Oh,
how
nice
about
to
you?
meet you? I'm Nisi.
Good to meet you.
Where are you from?
From the U.S. Yeah, Colorado.
How do you like it so far?
Well, so far the ride from the airport's been all right.
Yeah.
Where should I go in town while I'm here?
I guess you should try the Old English pub.
So, we went to the Old English pub. With me was my old friend, Damien Costa. Damien isn't just someone to share a drink with. He's a former U.S. Navy SEAL who first came to Kosovo in uniform during NATO's intervention. Years later, he returned not with a rifle, but with a briefcase to invest. But we'll get back to that. To really understand where Kosovo's going, you have to know where it's been. For most outsiders, the name still triggers one image: war.
Kosovo's population is 90% Albanian. They say it's ethnic cleansing. Serbs insist they're fighting terrorists.
Bombed out buildings on the evening news, refugee convoys, a country on fire.
Despite denials from Belgrade, this is the reality of Kosovo.
But that was more than 20 years ago.
No more ethnic cleansing, no more massacres, a chance to live without fear.
Yet for much of the world, Kosovo never really moved past that headline. But on the ground, the story's been changing. Kosovo is the youngest country in Europe, a place still writing its story. Tucked in the Balkans between Albania, Montenegro, Serbia, and North Macedonia, it declared independence in 2008. Half of the world recognizes it, half doesn't. That in-between status shapes everything here, from politics to opportunity. It's a small country, but one with a big energy. Nearly half the population is under 30. For them, the war's history, not memory. They're looking forward, building businesses, chasing education, and trying to prove that Kosovo is more than the headlines it inherited. Shattered stages give rise to festivals that now draw the world to Prishtina. Kosovo's transformation isn't just economic, it's cultural. A global identity is emerging from its streets, its murals, and its festivals. What was once a blank spot on the map is now a canvas of ambition painted by a generation that insists on being seen. Okay, now back to Damien. To understand the Kosovo of today, you have to hear from those who were here from the very beginning. Damien Costa first came to Kosovo in uniform as part of the U.S. Navy SEAL Team 6 during the conflict.
So we're sitting here in, I think, the only English pub in Kosovo.
That's what I hear.
That's a couple months old.
Yeah.
This is a different experience than your first trip to Kosovo. From a human perspective,
Yeah.
what was the feeling, you know, that of population, people who lived here and then just come through that experience, right?
Yeah, so imagine you're coming through that experience, right? And from their perspective, you're trying to walk down the street and then a convoy of Humvees with mounted 50 cals on top roll through and, doing this we call presence patrols, just letting everybody know, hey, there's an occupation force, not going to tolerate any nonsense. And so it looks like a war zone. If you walk out and there's Jeeps driving around with guns on them, guys in camouflage, it can kind of make you feel like it, right? And from our perspective as well, we felt like, hey, around any corner, there could be, something bad, right? And you're on edge and you're on guard and you're holding the gun and it's not a great interaction, right? Like, I mean, you don't want to show up anywhere with a bunch of guns in camouflage.
Tell me we're here to help.
Yeah, right. We'll be out of here in a minute.
And then there's Jeta Xharra, one of Kosovo's most fearless journalists.
I thought if I get the foreign media to go and see what's happening in Kosovo, the world might actually see all these human rights violations and do something about it.
We have had Syria, Libya, Afghanistan, Ukraine, now Gaza. In neither of these wars has there been a successful military intervention which ended up with people building their own lives successfully afterwards.
For nearly 2 decades, Jeta has been a voice of accountability here, proving that in a young democracy, the media isn't just reporting the story, it's shaping the future.
Having a young lady ask the politicians who, where, when, why was a cultural shock to our audience.
She even created a new museum of resistance, preserving the history of how this country came to be.
A lot of people tell me this is called in the West dark tourism. I would say not at all, because in your countries, when you make your museums, you call them history museums. Therefore, I don't think you should see the Eastern Europe and areas of underdeveloped world as showing our dark tourism. It's just our history, and it's not always dark. It's actually, as you said, it's a resilience museum, a story of a resilience, which we made it through a lot of help.
In many ways, Jeta embodies what Kosovo itself is fighting for: credibility, resistance, and truth. Dale Pfeiffer was here in the early 2000s, leading USAID's mission during Kosovo's fragile first years of transition.
But it was a very emotional visit because we had turned the corner and there was a crowd and we talked to them, and these were people who had been hiding in their apartments for months, and they were free. I mean, it's the first time in my life I've tasted freedom. I mean, really, you see people just, letting it go.
He saw a country rebuilding from the ground up, not just its roads and institutions, but its people. Out of that vision came the Kosovo American Education Fund, which has sent hundreds of young Kosovars to study in the United States and return home with new skills and confidence.
One of my final acts as a director was to create a program to create future leaders, not political leaders, future leaders in the society, by sending them all to the States to get training and come back and start a business or go into government or do both. And we will have finished with 3 who just started, I think 125 total who have been in the program. And they've come back and they've started new businesses. They've stepped into jobs in government and shown how things are done differently.
Much of that work was backed by USAID, America's development agency, which, for decades, supported Kosovo's economic transition. But just recently, USAID's programs were stopped here, raising questions about what comes next. Kosovo's history is heavy, but on the street, you don't feel weight. You feel momentum. Life here is unfiltered. Markets buzzing, bakeries baking, startups building. The past is present, but so is the future. Damien believes the country's next big story are the people building what comes next. Today, he's backing Outsorcy, a company that connects global businesses with Kosovo's young ambitious workforce.
Why not have an execution team located somewhere else? The culture here is certainly works around that, right? And this office will start to pick up here as folks come in for the evening shift, and get on it. So it's a great opportunity. It's a necessary opportunity for private equity in the States. The States have been outsourcing to lower cost environments for a long time. Think India, China, obviously, these come to mind. But you have huge time zone differences there. And there is some cultural mismatch at times. And so when you have this sort of Eastern European connection, there's no language barrier, time zone's not much of an issue, and you can build a scalable team here from top down. It's pretty compelling.
Everywhere you look in Prishtina, there's competition. Cafés on every corner.
It's just like America.
International brands fighting for space with local products. It's messy, but it's also a sign of something new. The free market at work.
Hey.
Hello, how are you?
Good, good, good. Can I get a American coffee?
Of course.
I heard it's real American coffee.
It is real American coffee. Not only coffee, but everything here is real American. I lived in Texas for about 12 years, and my husband's American. He's from Idaho.
Texas and Idaho. That's
exactly.
real American. That's
Exactly.
right. Nice.
He's the one who makes everything.
Nice. So how's business been for you?
It's been pretty good. We have our clientele that are very loyal to us. It's been really nice.
That's awesome.
Especially the people who have some connection to US.
Yeah.
They're more familiar with what we have here.
Yep.
So it reminds them of home.
So
our country music, everything.
Yeah, I love country music. What are the popular?
Well, cinnamon rolls is the most popular thing that we have here.
Yep.
Also, pecan pie, it's really popular.
Nice. All right.
But everything here, we make it here.
I love it.
Kosovo may be small, but there's an entrepreneurial undercurrent running through its streets. Ambition competing for attention. Talent competing for opportunity. That's exactly what you'd expect at a free market.
You can get to who you need to get to here. There's no red tape, there's no bureaucracy. There's this willingness to cooperate, willingness to work. I mean, how much notice did we give these guys here that we were going to stop by and have a drink, right? And they were great.
But what does this energy really mean? It's proof that Kosovo is finding its economic rhythm.
I can tell you this place is the hub of the best, most talented modern artists in Southeast Europe. We've got really some successful young artists, successful filmmakers, small place but very talented women directors, for example. I'd like to see them in 5 years maturing into making a successful modern art scene, theater festivals. You caught us under renovation of the main National Theater across the street from this museum, and I'm hoping for a theater festival. We have a vibrant ecosystem for art to make something out of nothing. And I'm hoping for less shopping malls and more spaces of former department stores like this to turn into public spaces and spaces we can show art.
For years, art and media were Kosovo's loudest voices. It was proof that the country was alive and it was free. But turning that energy into credibility takes more than expression. It takes trust.
What's the state of the political system today?
Stalemate. They've not learned that democracy requires that you talk to your opponents as colleagues and not as enemies, and that winning an election doesn't give you the right to own everything. So they need to come around and reorient themselves. Right now, the parties all want power, but they don't want to share power. And it's a lesson that's hard to learn. And a lot of democracies never learn it and they fall apart. But they still have a chance to pull this around.
Politics may drag its feet, but business doesn't. And that's what makes Kosovo's entrepreneurs really unique. People here just keep building.
My philosophy is try to run your business as much as you can without asking for support from the government or for any institution. And honestly speaking, from that point of view, Kosovo is great. You could say maybe lack of support, but actually I see that as a benefit. I haven't seen any issue from the government.
There's a bit of a branding problem here, right? When you get to Kosovo, what's the first thing people remember, right? It's the conflict, it's the war 25, 26 years ago. And that there's this perception that it's unsafe, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or it's dangerous, or, you know, there's corruption and all these other really ridiculous things. And it's just wildly unfounded, right? I suppose that exists because there just hasn't been any real conversation to change that narrative in 26 years.
Kosovo's history is complicated, but walking these streets at night, I don't feel a country defined by the past. I feel one living on the edge of something new.
When I arrived in Kosovo, the biggest question that I kept hearing was, is it safe? And you think about it now, and it's almost ridiculous to even think about that question, because of course it's safe. It's an amazingly safe place, but not only that, it's vibrant and it's growing based on the youth of its population. Yeah, it came from a history of war. That war ended 25 years ago, and it's a wildly different place today. So yeah, it's safe, it's growing, it's a dynamic place, and it's certainly the place to be today.
And it's not just my experience. According to Gallup's Global Law and Order report, Kosovo ranks among the safest countries in Europe, even ahead of places like Austria and Iceland. It's not the story most people expect to hear.
People think that it's not safe to come here, and I'm telling you, it's fun to come here. Not only that it's safe to come here, it's fun, and we have a strong story of resilience to share with the world, how you can get by even if the odds are against you.
So if safety isn't the question anymore, then what is? For many here, the new conversation is about growth, about the investors, the entrepreneurs, and the risk takers. They're betting on what comes next.
I think for investors it's key that you have people of the word, and I think that is what I find here. There's not a lot of money necessarily, or beautiful infrastructure, and you may find it not so clean, but you will find interesting people, good people, talented, smart, speaking the language. That's quite good for a small country and for good business.
Yeah, absolutely.
What I've seen here isn't just survival, it's ambition. Kosovo's story is still being written, and it's happening on the edge of Europe, on the edge of perception, and on the edge of possibility.
You know, so now, today, you're an investor in a company here.
Yeah.
Kind of reflecting back on where it started and where it is today. If you have to try to explain that to somebody, you know, how do you do it? What do you tell?
Well, I think you start with, you should just go see it.
Right.
You know?
Absolutely.
Go to the cool new English pub that's opened up 2 months ago, right? Again, and this is a great testament. I mean, there's things, if you were here a year ago, it's gonna look a little different. If you were here 5 years ago, you might not recognize it. If you were here 25 years ago, you're definitely not gonna recognize it. And so, if you think about it, your first words need to be go. Yeah, just go. Go see it, go experience it. The people are great, the food's fantastic. So, go check it out.
Next time on Scaling Across Borders, I meet the ones who left Kosovo and chose to return. Entrepreneurs, creatives, and dreamers risking everything to build home again. They're not just coming back, they're bringing the world with them.